Hello, welcome. Sorry about the microphone quality. I couldn't get my rather fancy lapel mic to work, so I'm just going to do it. So, as you can see on the screen here, you've got my baby. It took me ages to make this. Now, this is, if I zoom out, your between session timeline. So, why does that matter? Well, let's zoom in over here. So, this is the day of your session. Okay, what this is, and marked by today, this star here. And you've then got 13 days all marked out along here, with which there are little mini tasks to do every day. Why? Because constant little amounts of engagement lead to massive change. And I want you to be able to look back over your journey and go, look at all that constant little engagement. And I also want to make this as easy as possible for you. I'm a visual person, so I want you to be able to track all these tasks. So, over here, you will find your session notes, the ones that I've taken. And then we come into the timeline view here. If you're unfamiliar with this software, if you just use your scroll button on your mouse pad to scroll in and out, if you hold the right click key, you can scroll, you get that little hand, and the left click key, draw, or if you selected this tool, you can select and do whatever you want. So, here's your 2 weeks, here's your break in the middle. It should be about an average of 10 to 15 minutes a day of between session stuff. And let me start with the top, up here. These are the kind of major big ticket items. So the most important thing on this timeline is when your accountability experiment is due. Now this is the task that we have agreed upon in the session you are going to do that pushes you to the edge of your comfort zone. There will almost always be one, not 100% of the time. So this you can move around because obviously, and I will probably do this for you the first couple of times, you're going to have a due date on your big action as a result of the coaching session. So this will usually fall within week 1, maybe a little bit after. So there you go. And that will be a reminder for you. And you're to fill in what that accountability experiment is down here. In the lead up to that, you've got this guy here, this reminder. This is your reminder to tip, and we may have talked about this concept, we may not have, to tip the scales in your favour. To tip the scales of fear and drive into your favour. So you come down into this, and you ask yourself these questions. You don't have to write the answers. You can if you want. You can, if you want to write the answers, you just click on this sticky note here, press enter, boom, type away. The app is only this clunky on when I'm screen recording, so don't worry. Okay, so that's sort of your get yourself re-hyped if it's been quite a long time since between the session and the accountability experiment. Now again, that can be moved, and I will probably move that for you along the timeline. And each day I want you to move that to today, so you know where you're at, and I know where you're at too. Week 2 begins. This phone here, if we've signed up to a program where you get an accountability call, here will be where it lies. And to prep for the accountability call the day before, the night before, whenever you're taking your 10 minutes each day to do these little touch points, coaching touch points, there's your little prep form for that. Nice and simple. And then I just wanted to put a nice picture in of someone looking very reflective and looking at themselves, an actual reflection of themselves, because this is when things are going to get very reflective. Here's your task for the day here. Now this is what you could call your pre-session check-in. So you see over on the left here, you've got the accountability experiment. So the accountability experiment will be done now. I just want you to note down in here, greatest asset, right? Greatest asset despite the outcome. And then what you learned despite the outcome. And then move it onto wherever it fits on this diagram. Was it high value? Did you get a lot of value out of it? Or did you not get much value out of it? Was it high procrastination? Did it take a long time to get you to do it? Or low procrastination? And it'll end up somewhere, let's just say here. And then you'll see discover your most enjoyable unexpected win. Little question for you in there. And then again, move that to the appropriate place. And then after this, I want you to write, just note down there, what are you stuck or avoiding? And move it on. Now, this blue here, this is your habit. So in the session, it's likely, not definite, that in the most recent session or throughout the coaching program so far, we have defined some habits that you are going to try and stick to. Or we might have just decided that there are certain things we want to track. For example, whether you journaled or not, you can see down here, that's one of the things we're tracking. For example, how is your sleep hygiene? For example, how is your sleep hygiene rated on a scale of 1 to 10? How is your procrastination today rated on a 1 to 10? It might be other things like how many sales did I make today? It might be another thing like how many hours did I work today? How many hours sleep did I get last night? Blah, blah, blah. It could be anything. Could be anything. Okay. And so each day you are going to see these tables. And so you've got day 1 to 7, day 1 to 7. You double click on this table. Let me just click off it again. You just double click on it. And here we are. Up here, top right. Sleep hygiene out of 10. Put your number in. I'm going to do day 2. Oh, 2. I got really drunk and stayed up really late and looked at my phone before bed. But I did do my journaling, and that's a kind of yes or no, pass or fail. So pass is 10, whereas fail would be 0. Procrastination out of 10, 6. 6 out of 10. I did okay. Not great, but I got pretty much all the stuff done I wanted to do. Nothing spectacular. And you'll see here, you've got these habits tracked over time. So that's really useful. That's going to be really useful for our session. And then that brings to light what you're then reflecting on here. So you will come onto this day when you're doing this table, and you will write in each habit, whatever it was, and whoopsie, just simply drag it onto wherever it falls on the value procrastination table. No need to reflect on it, just drag it. These pink guys here are the tasks that they're not habits that we would have agreed upon. These are the tasks, the basic stuff you have signed up to do as part of your coaching program. These form part of the agreement. Did you journal every day? Did you procrastinate on it? Did you find it valuable or not? This will really help us to keep making sure we iterate and improve the coaching program for you. If you're going, actually, Jeebus, that I got no value out of that journaling and I procrastinate heavily on it, maybe we'll drop it. Maybe we'll change it. Consuming and reflecting on resources. So, right, before we drag and drop that, let's zoom out. So you will see, if we zoom right out, that in your little task box area, which is below the line, on day 2, so basically, fundamentally, any day, just zoom in into where it says underneath, and you'll see what you've got to do. It's pretty self-explanatory. There will be a resource, video, link to an article, something like that, right here. And I will have put that in as a result of our conversation, of our session. So that will be tailored to you. And what you're going to do is, whilst you're watching it, or when you finish watching it, what was the most useful lesson or insight? And again, drag and drop, baby, onto the value impact. So how valuable, high impact, or what was the size of the opportunity? What is the size of the opportunity that this insight creates? Versus on the bottom scale here, how urgent is that insight? Bit of a strange one. What I mean by that is how instantly useful or applicable it is. Like, how soon will it be useful for you? Okay. One burning question, one thing that the video didn't answer, or the question that's created in you, or the confusion. Write down the question. Put it in question form. It's really important. Again, answering the question, how high impact will it be? How urgent do you want the answer? And then experiment. So you want to take away one, and only one, way that you can act or experiment on the resource you've just watched or read. How can you play with it? Play. How can you make a game of it? And again, how high impact and how soon can you make that happen? And then you've got a space for any other notes too. Now, let's zoom out again. My light's a bit creepy, isn't it? Also, I haven't shaved in a while. It's because I've been making this. I loved it. It's been very fun. So we come back to your reflection. And that's where you put, how much joy did I get from the resources? How much value did I procrastinate, etc. Session prep and debrief. So, zooming out, zooming. So, day after the session, your only task, other than to journal, we'll get to that in a minute, your only task is two tasks. Probably most importantly, and we'll cover this in the session, to set yourself a reminder, whether that's an app on your phone, an alarm, a text reminder, email reminder. I used to have a piece of software that did this for you, and I'm trying to find another one that integrates with this. But currently I don't, because the last one I used, well, they got attacked by hackers, and their servers went down, so I had to stop using them. But you don't care about that. So yeah, so set reminders for yourself at the same time each day to spend this is when you check this and do your 15 minutes. And by the way, there is an app for this whiteboarding software. It's called Miro, Miro. It'll sync and everything, and you can do it on your phone real quick. Okay. And the second one is to set appropriate time reminders for your accountability experiment. Really important. A day out, maybe an hour out, maybe 3 days out of when your accountability experiment is due. You need reminders. We're all only human. We need to put structure around this, most of us anyway. And then you're just going to answer some simple questions in this rather badly formatted text box here. Simple takeaways from the call. Okay. So that's the post-session wrap-up. The pre-session prep form is actually not a form. It used to be a form, very boring form. And now pre-session prep consists of, number one, this guy here, we've already talked about him. And then the second day, your ideal outcome. This is a really simple, easy day. And then the third, which is the day before your session, you're going to check in on your compass. So your values, vision, mission, worth compass. And all you're going to do is play with the sizing. So the first thing you're going to do, is go, right, I feel really aligned to my vision right now. I feel really in tune with it, close to it. I love it. It's super authentic. I'm going to make this one massive. My sense of worth and what I believe, how I believe I'm acting in terms of what makes me worthy to be around others. And yeah, whether I feel good enough right now. I don't really feel very good right now. I'm gonna keep that one the size it is. I'm a sort of 4 out of 10. Values, yeah, 6. I'm kind of living through my values, but there's definitely work to be done there. That's not changing size. There we go. And my mission statement, yeah, I'm smashing it. I'm on course. So there you go. We've got our lovely balanced balls here. These will have your images in as we go through and discover what your values, mission, worth, etc. is. And then just come over here and answer these questions. Right now, which aspect of this guy here, have a little thing in there just to help you out. Which aspect of this guy here of the compass feels most authentic? Great. Tell me which aspect. Values, worth, mission, vision. And then why. You click a little plus button, you'll get a text box. Least authentic. Right, tell me about it. And why? And then you got a final question. This is a really important question. What has changed, either within me or in my environment, that has led to this? It's led to this, it feeling less authentic. Let's say it's work. Let's say it's values. My values don't feel as authentic anymore. Well, what's changed? That's caused that. Then you'll be ready for the session. And it is really important that you do these 2 days. The fun little draggy thing, and the ideal outcome. You do those on time, because if you don't do those on time, then I can't prep for the session properly. It takes me time to prep for the sessions and make them the most valuable they can be. And if I don't have the time to do it, my unconscious and my conscious can't make the most of that opportunity, and neither can yours. So do it. Do yourself a favor and do it on time. Have a bloody break in the middle. Give yourself a couple of days off. Look at this guy. Oh. Chilling. Last thing then, on these 2 days, you're going to, as it says here, this studious fellow is doing, you're going to listen back to the first half of the session on this day. Just note down your top 1 to 3 insights, and you can walk and listen, like you're listening to a podcast or on your commute. And then next day, any actions I can take, experiments that I can run. Sorry, did I just say next day? Didn't mean that. So you do this, whilst you're listening or after you've listened. What questions do I have, or research topics to come as a result of listening back to the session? And this cool looking foxy fella is day 2. So listen to the second half. And same questions apply. So zooming out again then, there's a lot there. I don't expect anyone to get it right first fortnight, and there isn't really a right or wrong. But this is what I talk about in the agreement when I say so much of the value you're going to get out of this program is going to come from your input. And here it is. This is how you get the most out of the coaching program. The sessions are vital. This, and we're both responsible for the power of the sessions. This is equally as vital. Peace.